pod bay doors.
Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode of The Cinematic Traveler. I am your intrepid movie exploring host, Chris. And on this episode, this very special, different kind of episode for the show. And I know what you're thinking. You saw the title of the show or this episode and said, what? It's just a Nightmare on Elm Street. Who hasn't talked about that? Because in the rule book for movie review podcast, you have to do some kind of horror movie around Halloween, especially a classic one. But this one is a bit different because I'm going to have a few guests on here, and we're going to do something where we have a generational conflict, as it were, as we talk about, as I mentioned, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original from 1984, directed by horror icon Wes Craven, and starring equally iconic horror villain Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund. And, of course, we have the lovely Heather Langenkamp as Nancy, who people of my age had a little bit of a crush on her. Come on, admit it, we all did. But joining me for this episode are some young whippersnappers who are coming on to tell me how cheesy and terrible this movie is. Oh, how should I introduce these people? Because there is a connection to us. One of them is actually my child, and the other one is married to my beautiful, wonderful, amazing favorite niece. And if he ever does anything wrong to her, he would wish Freddy Krueger will come see him instead of me. Let's start with my son, Tyler, who, ladies, if you ask him to stand watch while you are trying to get Freddy Krueger out of your dreams and hope that Tyler wakes up to save you, you are doomed because 7 alarm clocks will not wake this young man up. But Tyler, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm grateful to have you here.
And you're not lying. It's hard to wake up.
Yes, I know. I'm glad you're here. And the other young man who, if Freddy Krueger showed up into his nightmares, Freddy would be like, whoa, dude, you need some serious therapy. And that would be, of course, Sean, what are you? Are you my nephew-in-law? Is that
Nephew-in-law?
Yeah, okay, is that a real title?
Good.
Well, thank you. How are you tonight, Sean?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. And Jordan says hello.
Well, tell her I said hello as well. She should come on the show so I could have some female voices instead of this sausage fest that we are going to have here. Too many dicks on the dance floor. But I don't know. Should I go ahead and explain why you guys are on the show?
Why not?
Why not? Go for it.
Okay, so over the years, since we are family, we've had family get-togethers and whatnot. Us older people in the family make movie references that these younger guys don't know or recognize, and we're all in shock. For Tyler, I can understand because a lot of the movies or shows that I saw him, he would hear from his other parent, why you let him watch that show? So he kind of got shortchanged in that regard. But I decided it would be kind of cool to go back and revisit these classic movies that I watched when I was young and see how they translate to a younger generation, if they still live up to the hype for them, or if they're just going to go, oh my God, what the hell was wrong with you people with these cheesy B movies? So we had to find a movie that neither of these young guys had seen. And as, like I said, it is Halloween time, and we are court ordered to have a horror movie on a podcast, or at least a movie-related podcast. We found A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984, which I am assuming no one has seen out there, which neither one of you has seen, right?
No, it's my first time.
Oh, okay.
First time watching.
Awesome. Now, before we get into all the fun festivities, you know what to do out there. If you are listening, please follow, subscribe, like the show, leave comments, tell everybody how right I am and how wrong these young men are. That these films are brilliant. They don't understand cinema. Oh, and if you want to find the show, you can find me on social media. Best place to do it is Instagram at Cinematic Traveler Pod. I do have an email address, thecinematictravelerpod@gmail.com. So you can follow the show. And since I'm over explaining things, I will let y'all know I am going to give you a brief plot synopsis, a very brief plot synopsis for this movie, as it is, oh my God, 41 years old. That cannot possibly be true. But in that plot synopsis, I will hide a movie quote from another movie. If you can identify that movie, get in touch with me through the means I just gave you. I'll give you a point for getting it right. And at the end of the month, I'll add up all the points. Whoever wins gets to pick a movie for me to review next month. Oh my God. Oh my God, how exciting is that? I hear you guys out there just chomping at the bit for that trivia question to come up in my plot synopsis. All right, so what do you say, fellas? Let's go ahead and talk about A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
And as I mentioned, this came out in 1984 and directed by Wes Craven. Do y'all know any of his other movies by chance?
Personally, I do not.
Okay.
I
How
know
about you, Sean?
I know a couple of them.
Such as?
I don't know if I've ever seen some of them, but I feel like I know a couple.
Which would be?
I know he did Scream.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
And I mean a bunch of the Scream stuff.
Yeah, he did the first 4 Scream movies.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Other than that, though, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know much.
A lot of the stuff is from the 70s and 80s. He did Last House on the Left, which they remade, but the original version is quite a nasty little movie from the 70s. The Hills Have Eyes, which they remade.
Yes.
That was pretty nasty.
Yes.
And then a movie called, I think it's called Deadly Friend. I'm sure you haven't heard of that one because it wasn't very good. But it has the best use of a basketball in any movie in the history of cinema. So you want to check that out, Deadly Friend.
Okay.
This movie was made for $1.8 million back in 1984, which was low budget, even
Crazy
by standards in 1984. It grossed, from what I could find, $25 million, which actually saved the studio that financed the film, New Line Cinemas. It's been called the studio that Freddy built because with this movie and the continuing series, they made a lot of money off of those movies. Fascinating, isn't it?
How much are like today's movies producing?
Oh boy, you get a few that are maybe $4 or $5 million. That's kind of low budget. Most of them are, oh god, the movies like those Marvel movies. Those are $150, $200 million movies.
Oh wow, okay.
Avatar 2, The Way of Water, that was $460 million.
That is absolutely insane. But it made like
crazy.
$1 billion some odd dollars. So
Yep.
It did well.
Even for sure.
All right. With A Nightmare on Elm Street. So the film takes place, guess where? On Elm Street, or at least in the little town. I think it's in Ohio. I think one of the films later in the series says it's in Ohio, but I could be wrong. Anybody out there wants to clarify or correct me on that one? I won't acknowledge that I was wrong, but I will appreciate the information. Well, this seemingly idyllic town does have a secret past in which a child killer, Frederick von Krueger III, Esquire, is running around terrorizing these young children until the parents finally corner him, and they basically have a barbecue where Freddy, he's not the guest, he is actually the main course. Well, no, they don't eat him. I guess that's kind of gross. But they do light that candle, and they think that Freddy is gone forever. Now, a few years later, their teens start having strange dreams about a man in a green and red striped sweater with nails that need to be trimmed, chasing after them. Now, these teens, Nancy, Tina, Rod, and Glenn, are struggling to convince their parents that there is, in fact, a monster here. With one of them, let's say Nancy, saying something like, "It was the boogeyman," and a deranged psychologist saying something like, "As a matter of fact, it was. Hint, hint." Now, y'all should get that movie. Quote, that's pretty easy. Well, it seems this boogeyman keeps terrorizing them all through the night, and they try different ways to stay awake until they finally figure out a plan on how to fight this demon. Now, will they be able to stop Freddy before he eliminates them in their dreams? Or will Freddy have the last laugh, and we will all laugh along with him because we love Freddy. We just love Freddy, even though he is the demented child killer, which says a lot for us. But we'll probably spoil that because, as I mentioned, this movie is 41 years old. So we will answer those questions. But you guys sure are quiet.
Well, I didn't want to talk over you.
I didn't want to like ruin.
I didn't know when I'm supposed to talk, when I'm not supposed to talk.
Okay, well, we can talk now. All right.
All right.
So, all right, we have established y'all haven't watched this movie.
First time.
So
First time.
First time. All right. So let's go ahead. We'll give a review. We're going to break it down into positives and the negatives, and then we'll get an overall recommendation or a view of this film to see if it lives up to this iconic standard that we have all set for those of us who lived through 19. Now, I will say I was too young to go see this movie in the movie theater. All right. We're going to put that out there. I'm not that old. Although when it came out on videotape, definitely saw it. We were all talking about it at school. It was pretty funny. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the positives of the movie. And I guarantee you're going to hear from Tyler and Sean at some point in this podcast. So let's talk about the positives of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ready for your thoughts.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let Tyler, since he is my son, no offense, Sean, he's going to get to go first, damn it.
I'm up first. All right.
What did you think of the positives of this movie?
I had a lot of things that I liked about it. I mean, I can't say that I disliked the movie.
Oh, don't give that away yet. We're not there.
Oh, sorry. I guess cut that out.
No, cut that out. Keep going.
All right. So I liked that the claw marks stayed like after the nightmare happened. You know, they brought it back into the real world. I liked that. Tied it in, made it a little, I guess, immersive, right? They're trying to tell everybody something's going on, and they're like, no, nothing's going on. You're just kind of crazy or whatever. But there's marks, so why wouldn't, Anyways.
That
I like the bad
believes.
insults. Yeah, right.
That nobody believes. As much as I watched this movie, as many times as I've seen it, as a parent now, I would be like, oh, you're full of shit. And then when I saw like 3 scratches down your chest, I might be like, wait a minute, something might be up there.
Take a little concern.
Let's see here.
Or like
when they go
to the doctor where they're having the nightmare thing. And
she's
like, okay,
here's
she
this
pulls like a
study.
hat.
He's like, oh, she's
As
dreaming.
a parent, I might be like, something could be amiss.
Something's a little fishy here.
I like the visual effects of the movie. Like him stretching through the ceiling, when she was starting to dream or whatever. There was a scene where his fingers get cut off and it's pumping green blood out, which I thought was really cool that it wasn't like red blood, it's green blood just squirting everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I think it's kind of fucked up, but the funny scene where the kid sinks through the bed and then a spray of blood just starts going everywhere. I was dying laughing. Maybe I shouldn't have been, but
no, that's all right. I think that most people laughed a lot about that scene. That I'm going to talk about later, but you go ahead.
Let's see. There's a couple other things like Nancy's running in one of her. I guess it would be a dream. I don't know. I got a little mixed up sometimes whether this was reality or the dream, which I guess is the point of the movie. But she's running up the stairs, and the stairs got, they turn into mush. Kind of like what would happen in your nightmare when you're trying to run away from something. And it's like slowing her down, and she's getting away. I think one thing that made me laugh was when she's trying to stay awake, and she's drinking so much coffee. She's got the coffee pots everywhere, and the coffee maker in her room.
She's got like a Starbucks under the bed.
Yeah, and the mom comes in, takes everything away, and then she's pretending to sleep. Wakes up and grabs an extra coffee maker from under the bed. I don't know anyone that has 2 coffee makers.
Yeah, and how the mom didn't notice that, I'll never know. Well, she was drunk most of the movie anyway.
That is true. That is true. And then there was one line, I don't know, I could be wrong, but when Glenn exploded in his bed, everybody's showing up with the ambulance and everything, and they're bringing the stretcher out. And somebody goes, "You don't need a stretcher, man. You need a mop."
Yeah, there is some dark humor throughout it. In the series, as the series progresses and the sequels, it gets a lot more of that dark humor in it.
But yeah, I mean, there's quite a few things that I enjoyed.
Sean, what say you? What are the positives for this old movie?
I don't know. I went into it kind of, Tyler brought up the podcast to me and mentioned that the movie was A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I was like, oh, I've never seen it before. Going into it, I thought it was going to be, just the typical kind of corny slashers old movie. So that's kind of how I started out watching it. But as it went on, I found myself enjoying it more than I thought I would.
Nice.
And the notes that I took kind of coincided with like beginning to end of the movie. I thought the music like the soundtrack, the soundscape of the whole thing was very unsettling, which I
Yes.
didn't think that was gonna happen. But I'm sitting there watching it, and I was like, ooh, I kind of feel a little uncomfortable right now. Like this is a little weird, Like even Freddy whispering through the background or whatever. I thought that was pretty creepy. And to Tyler's point, where that was one of my, like, I was most proud of this note, Tyler. The ceiling scene, I thought was so cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was so creative, especially for a movie that was made in the 1980s. The way it was shot, the way it was,
easy now. Easy.
yeah. The way that it was shot and the way that it looked, like I said out loud, I was like, oh my God, like that's so cool. Just like him coming through the ceiling and all that. I thought that was really cool. Let's see, other positives. I thought it was cool how the whole dream, how he was in their dreams. There was no really ever transition to it, I guess. It kind of just happened, and I feel like as a viewer that kind of made it to where somebody that has never seen it, like let's say you've never seen it before, you have no idea who Freddy Krueger is, like you wouldn't really be able to tell like what's real or what's a dream. And I thought that was kind of cool. There was no, like swirling waves into a transition into this. It just kind of happened, and I thought that was pretty cool. It made it more immersive in that way.
Yeah, you got to pay attention so you know where you're at in the movie.
Exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I was a big fan.
Oh, good. All right. I'm pleasantly surprised so far. I, as an old guy who has seen this movie so many times, oh my God, it was actually in the movie theater a couple of weeks ago. Regal has been showing a lot of old classic horror movies.
That's cool.
And I enjoy the movie. I love the concept of it. To take you back through the mists of time back then, you had sort of your icons at the time. I would say definitely Michael Myers, and then Jason was kind of getting his start. So you had sort of these maniacal killers, silent killers who were people so that you could run away from them or you could hide. But, with Freddy, it was different because he's in your dreams and you can't. I mean, how can you not sleep? You're going to sleep. So how do you stay away from him? You know what I mean? Right. I thought it was just a great idea. Plus, Freddy has some personality. He got to talk some shit and I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. So, there's some great creative kills. I know y'all talk about the rooms. Yes, with Tina getting killed where she's floating around. That's actually on a gimbal. And the crew,
I thought that was so creative.
Yeah, the crew are spinning the room as she's in it.
Oh, wow.
Floating around it. So it's basically practical. And the really cool part I like about that scene is there's a shot behind, I think his name's Rod, her boyfriend or whatever he was. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of reaching out to her. Well, in reality, she's on the floor where it looks like she's on the ceiling, and he's upside down in front of the camera, and they've kind of glued his hair down and strapped him into this chair. So it's the opposite. Okay. Yeah.
That's
and then
so cool.
That room, they also reused that room for Johnny Depp getting killed.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Glenn was Johnny Depp until just now.
Johnny Depp's first movie.
I was also surprised that I was like, oh my God, that's young Johnny Depp.
That was his very
just
first
even more
movie.
Invested in the movie.
Yep. But for that one, they used the same room, and they basically tilted it over, and they had blood-colored water, and they just splashed it down in there. But the ceiling lights that would be on the floor at that point were electric, and when the water hit those ceiling lights, guess what happened? It sent a current up to the guy, and I guess it zapped him who was dumping the water in there.
Oh, wow.
And
damn.
They also didn't take into account the weight of the water when it started landing on the, I guess it would be the floor, but it's the ceiling of the bedroom. So it kind of had this weird, creepy effect that they were like, oh, we didn't even plan that. It just looked really cool how it did it. So it was a crazy scene. Like you said, Tyler, that part where the guy's like, oh, we need a mop to clean. That always cracks me up. I'm like, good God, dude. And the guy's parents are right there. But I think that really set it apart at the time. And as I mentioned, as the series goes along, you get more Freddy. He becomes almost the hero of the movie in a weird way, or in the series in a weird way. I think the performances are all solid. I mean, they're not brilliant. A lot of these are first-time actors, and actually even, like I said, Johnny Depp, that was his first role. But I think they convey, these kids that are trying. I like that towards the end, And again, this kind of reflects back to the timing of this movie when it came out. You had a lot of the final girls in horror movies before this. They eventually would fight back because they had to. This one, it felt like Nancy was like, I've had enough of this bullshit. I'm going to make some booby traps. I'm going to drag his ass out. I'm going to fuck him up. And I like that. I'm like, hell yeah, Nancy. But yeah, I think it's, for me, it still stands. It's got some cheesiness to it because, again, it's low budget. It was in the 80s, but I think it plays well because of the atmosphere that Sean had mentioned and the music. And you've got, likable characters that you're rooting for, and you don't want Freddy to get them. And eventually in the series, you want Freddy to get them.
Yeah, I like the fight back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, Nancy.
My first note that I made was to go in line with the characters of liking the characters and whatnot. My first note that I made was that Rod was somewhat annoying, but I thought as the movie went on, he kind of became a more likable person, and then his untimely death.
Yeah, you kind of feel bad for him because it isn't him.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when she runs into the police station, she's like, "Good check." They're like, "Yeah, whatever. We'll get back there in a minute."
By the way,
exactly.
They definitely could have saved him.
Yeah,
they had time. They definitely
had
time. Plenty of time.
They had plenty of time.
They had plenty of time.
I also like that you start out the movie with Tina, the blonde.
Yeah,
and you kind of think she's
going to be the main character.
Yeah, you thought she was the main character, and then they kind of do a little switcheroo, and she kills it. Like, oh shit!
I thought it was very surprising that her death came so early on. I was kind of like, oh, okay, so this isn't who I should be focusing on, and then it kind of took the frame more towards Nancy, and I was like, all right, so this is the main girl. This is the main character.
Yeah, and I
kind of forgot about Tina's death.
Yeah,
to be honest,
it happened so early. It was kind of like a shock of the moment thing.
But I like that because then it kind of says, "All right, all bets are off. You don't know who's going to get it.
Nobody's safe."
It's true.
Even if Nancy, you were like, "Okay, well, is she going to make it?" All right.
I'm looking at my other notes, see if I can add anything here.
I have a funny thing that I noticed and then looked up later on just to see if I was accurate about it. Do you guys remember the scene where Nancy is calling her father, who's in the street or the house across the street, that is currently dealing with Glenn's death, and she says, "Be here, 20, be here at 12:30, basically."
Yeah, something like that.
And she called him at 12:10, and then as the movie played on, she had made countless booby traps, and then she, sat with her mom for a little bit, talked with her mom for a little bit, and like this whole time, then her dad comes in, and it's like, oh my god, so it's only been 20 minutes and she did all of this stuff. I thought that was funny, just a little funny thing.
She was very productive in those 20 minutes.
Very productive.
She know how to get shit done. And that was another thing I liked about the movie. Again, to put it in the time frame that we were dealing with, I mean, you had Michael Myers and sort of the Friday the 13th movies, where parents weren't really a part of those movies. You hardly ever saw any of the parents in those movies. Whereas this one, it's, like I said, it's in the suburbs, and you have the parents. They just aren't really paying attention to what's going on, even though
they don't give a shit.
Painfully obvious.
Yeah, just like the scene where Nancy's screaming out of the bars of her house, and she's like, "Come, somebody get my dad! Help!" She's got a boatload of cops across the street that are just kind of like, "Yeah, okay,
yeah,
all right," and they just don't pay her any mind.
Yep, and they're standing there in a house with with someone who's been brutally murdered, and they're worried about a murder, and now his daughter's like, and they're like,
the lieutenant's daughter, nonetheless.
Exactly. On that note, since we're kind of leaning in that direction, let's go ahead and talk about the negatives of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
And Tyler, I'll let you start off again.
All right, real quick. I'm going to bounce off what you said about the parents. Why, if Nancy's mom knew about Freddy Krueger, why did she not mention anything when all this is coming up? I understand that she's a drunk. I understand that. But like, you've got his finger knives in the freaking basement, man.
Exactly.
And you don't say anything?
Why is she keeping those?
Yeah, why do you even have those? Like, so you know where they're at, but I'm not putting them in my house.
She got to terrorize Nancy.
That makes
her
sense.
around the house.
That was one of the biggest, like, I wouldn't say I disliked it. I'm just confused on, like, why would you not bring that up? Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I thought it was a good twist. I thought it was a good twist when it came up.
I mean, but like during the sleep study, and then she comes out and she's got his hat.
Yeah.
And she's
with
got
his name in it.
She's like,
with his name
you're
in
crazy.
it.
You're crazy.
And she said nothing. No, I don't know. This didn't make sense. I don't know. I didn't know that this was their first time acting, so I'll take it easy on the bad acting. But it was kind of cheesy, but I get it. First time acting. I would be a little nervous.
But don't say nothing bad about Heather Langenkamp now.
No.
Or Johnny Depp. Or Johnny Depp. Come on.
No, I think Johnny Depp honestly did very well.
He did
you
great.
know what? When I was watching it again, I was like, yeah, you can kind of tell he's a real
He's got
actor.
a future in front of him.
There was one scene where Nancy's in the school and she's having, I guess, she falls asleep in class and she sees Tina in the bloody bag, in the body bag. And so, like, Tina's getting dragged down the hallways and she's just following her. And she keeps yelling her name, like calling out for Tina. I'm like, well, Tina's dead.
That's what I thought. I had the
I'm like,
same
why are we
note.
calling out for Tina?
I had
Tina's
the same
dead.
note. I
That
was
doesn't
like,
make
why are
sense
you
to me.
going into the boiling room, I guess, of the school when you know your friend is dead? Like, she's not coming back. What are you doing?
No, that was weird. Honestly, that's about all I disliked about the movie.
Wow, I am.
Everything
I'm
else,
not gonna lie,
I enjoyed
I'm
the
a little
movie.
surprised right now. What's going on here? Pleasantly so. All right, let's see if Sean can take some fingernail knives to this movie.
I think when it comes to the acting of the movie, I mean, when it comes to at least 80s slasher films in general, I feel like it's pretty stereotypical for the acting to kind of be cheesy in a way, but for them being the first time acting, yes, they did a great job. There was one scene where I don't know if I'm sure you guys remember, where Nancy was taking those, I think they were the pill, like so generic, it was called like Stay Awake or something, and she was watching horror movies while currently experiencing, a nightmare herself.
Oh, not just
while she was trying to. Yeah, she was watching horror movies while she was trying to, I guess, not fall asleep. Which I guess that that makes sense in a way, but I thought that was kind of ironic.
What movie was playing?
I'll get to that in a moment.
The Evil Dead.
Oh, he got it.
I got it.
Very nice.
So
we get a cameo from Bruce Campbell in a sort of way.
Yeah.
Do you know why that they use that movie?
No.
I don't know why. But
because when Sam Raimi made the first Evil Dead movie, all right, let me see if I get this right. I think in the Evil Dead, there was a Hills Have Eyes poster, which was directed by Wes Craven in the background of one of the scenes. And then when he did Evil Dead 2, I think there's Freddy's glove or something is in the work shed, which I don't know if y'all have seen that movie, but.
Was Evil Dead directed by Sam Raimi?
Hell yeah.
What?
The legend.
I did not know that. That's insane. I'm going to have to watch that again because I did not know that.
The original, not the remake.
Not the newer one, yeah. Let's see. I don't know, man. I have more positives than negatives. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would.
Fair enough.
I went into it kind of expecting not much, but after finishing it, I was a big fan.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Especially for the time being, like it was new. It was.
I'm sure
nobody
it was
had really
amazing
ever done
then.
anything like exactly, and I feel like you kind of got to go into it with that mindset of like, we have all these slasher films nowadays that are honestly just terrible. And then you watch something that was original back in the day. Nobody's ever done anything like it, and so to see that was very like refreshing, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to.
Was confusing.
I thought I was going to have to come in here and fight it out with you two about this. All right.
Oh no, man.
Did the ending confuse you, Sean?
I have a note. I thought the Freddy mobile at the end was funny.
I thought it was funny. I
Also
I guess I didn't understand it.
It's
it's
a bit confusing. The ending is a compromise. Wes Craven had the happy ending where they're all back together again and they drive off.
Okay.
But the studio head, I think Robert Shea is his name. He saw the potential for basically making more money off of this and wanted to set up for a sequel. So that's why you get the mom or the the dummy of the mom getting ripped into the window there and all that stuff. And you go, fun fact of when the top of the car slams down, it wasn't supposed to slam that hard. So when they all scream, that was pretty much a reaction to what happened.
That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, they had to compromise. I don't think Wes Craven was happy with the end all the way through.
Okay, because that one was like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, wait, so it was all a dream? Or was it? Or was it not? Or maybe it was?
That's where the whole transition thing, I feel like, comes into play. It's like there were a couple parts in that movie where I was like, okay, wait, is this a dream or is this actually happening in real life? And I love that because it's
really blow your mind if you go back and watch it again. The very first shot of the movie is kind of, I think it's got the girl singing the 1, 2, Freddy's
and they're doing jump rope.
Yeah, and there's that little mist. So is the whole movie like Nancy's dream?
Yeah, the same parallel happened at the end of the movie.
Oh man.
Yeah, you could rip your head apart on. Let's see. For me, my negatives. I'm just going off the top of my head. I don't have a whole lot, but yeah, there's Wes Craven. He made some great ones and some bad ones, but the man was not known for his subtlety. There's a whole lot of, as you mentioned, the sleeping pills that say, or the stay awake pills.
Yes, stay awake.
The mom who's, every time you see the mom, she's got a bottle of vodka.
A big bottle.
She's a drunk.
Yeah.
The parents that don't care. As much as I liked having the parents in there and it kind of adding something to the movie, yeah, they're not very good parents. I mean, come on.
They're terrible parents.
There's your daughter screaming from across the street. We'll worry about that.
All right. Let's focus on
get there later.
I'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to there. Yeah, some of the acting, again, yeah, it's not great, but, it is what it is.
It's a classic.
I think enough of the movie makes up for that, and they do a well enough job that you're not, again, you're rooting for them. You care about these characters, and you want them to survive. Even Rod, you start to go, man, I hope, and when he starts getting choked with the thing, you're like, oh my God, somebody save him. So, but yeah, other than that, I mean, yeah, there is, for anyone young who hasn't seen the movie, it's an 80s movie. It's got cheese on it. Don't get me wrong. But that's what makes it so wonderful because, like you said, it's something original that you could do back then. I mean, again, I hate to be that guy, but back then you could make a movie like this and people would go see it because it was, it wasn't expensive to go see a movie. Now it's expensive. So if you saw a movie like this in a movie theater now, you'd be like, oh shit, I just spent $12 or $15 to go see this movie. What the fuck? Back then you're like, oh, this is fun.
I feel like it's better than most in the slasher genre films nowadays, though.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
just the originality, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The creativity of it all.
Like everything's remakes now, or
remakes.
Or just kind of like
sequels.
You guys sound like
how many Halloweens have they made?
You sound like the old guys on here. What the hell?
Do you think
you've ruined the whole show? God damn it!
Do you think that like the next, so like 2 and 3 are as good? Like worth watching?
I was gonna talk to y'all about that.
The ratings are way worse.
2, 2 is it's different. It's very different. It's kind of a rush job because they kind of knew that the first one was popular and they wanted to get something out real quick to kind of capitalize on that.
Okay.
I think there's some really cool parts to it. I think Freddy starts to become more of the character. Robert Englund puts more into the character, so he starts to have more one-liners and he's a little more twisted and dark. I would say the third one is generally thought of as the best in all of them. And I would be curious if you guys hadn't seen that, if you all watched that and wanted to do an episode on that, because it almost feels like it's more of a sequel than part 2.
Okay.
Because part 2 doesn't really have these characters come back. But in part 3, Nancy comes back.
Ooh, yes.
So should we just skip to 3?
Just completely eliminate
2. I like 2. It's just, it's a different type of. They tried to do different things with the lore. and make Freddy something different, but it has some pretty cool effects. There's one cool shot. I can't remember if it's the main guy or Freddy. One of them comes out of the other one, their body, and it's really cool looking effect.
Ooh,
so yeah,
okay.
it's got some interesting things in it. I'll say that. There's a layer of how should I say this in today's world? There's a layer of homosexuality in that movie.
Okay.
That it's not forefront, but it's in there. You're like, oh, wait a minute. But I enjoy 2, but 3 feels like, number one, it's a more natural sequel to this one, and it's really where Freddy kind of becomes the Freddy that we kind of knew. He becomes, he's got the one-liners, and welcome to prime time, bitch.
I would love to see that.
So yeah, if y'all do that one and you want to come on, we can talk about that as well.
Okay.
So I guess we'll overall, I mean, you guys have been so positive. This is so crazy. I was not expecting this. Overall, how would you rate it, Tyler? Would you rate it? I don't really do a number scale, but let's say, would you rate it as it was the epic classic that we all said it was, and it makes you want to be the man of Nancy's dreams? Was it okay, or was it so bad it was worse than a prostate exam from Freddy Krueger?
Oh God. I would say it lived up to the hype. I really enjoyed it, and especially after like you went into the details of how they did the special effects and stuff. I think I appreciate it more than just watching it and giving my opinion on it. Like I was talking to Sean, and we didn't share any, details, but we gave our number ratings. I gave it a 6.5.
Okay.
But I think after you've explained quite a bit about it, I would bump it up to like a 7.2, 7.3.
Okay. All right.
I think everyone should see it. I mean, it's a classic.
All right. Sean?
I know you said you don't do a number scale, but
Well, at this point, Tyler's already ruined that. He's come on the show and just decided we are going to do. I don't know what I've lost control of the show, so give a number. I don't give a fuck.
Out of a number scale 1 through 10, I would give it a solid 7.5.
Hell yeah!
I was expecting to go into it, like I said at the beginning, kind of like, all right, this is going to be just a cheesy, movie that my parents would have appreciated back in the day, which I can now see why they would have, coming from somebody that has never seen it before and is, has movies nowadays that are coming out that are just total garbage, or, the 10th Halloween that comes out or whatever. But yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I think if you haven't seen it before, you should definitely give it a watch. And a solid 7.5.
Man, look at that. Like I said, I'm surprised. I was watching it in the movie theater a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh, these guys, there would be scenes I was like, oh, these guys are just going to tear this movie apart. But yeah, I guess if I gave it a number, I'd give it an 8, just because Heather Langenkamp. I had such a crush on her. I actually met her last year, the year before.
Was Heather
at
Nancy
convention.
or Tina?
She was Nancy.
Nancy.
Yeah,
okay.
But she's still adorable. A little short. She's like 5 foot nothing, and she's just so adorable. But anyway,
where did you meet her?
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously, I'm gonna like it because I'm an old guy. I don't know. Some of these movies I wouldn't like, but this is again, I think when it came out in the horror genre, it sort of revolutionized things. It changed things. It was something, like you said, it was something creative. Something different. Again, how are you going to get away from someone when you have to go to sleep? And that made it even more scarier that he's in there creeping, waiting on you, and he's going to fuck you up, and there ain't shit you can do about it. So it made him scarier until, like I said, later on he becomes kind of like a stand-up comic, and that's why you went. You just went to see him kill somebody and drop a one-liner. Well, I'm the words are taken out of my mouth. This is a first for this show. The words have been taken out of my mouth.
I
was coming in thinking like, oh, I actually enjoyed that movie, and I bet he thinks that I hated that shit.
Yep.
I was ready for it. I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna turn this movie, and I'm gonna be mad.
Great movie.
You have to understand, some of these movies, I love so much. There's some I don't think we could ever do an episode on because I probably love them more than my children. Don't tell them I said that. That's a joke, obviously.
Do you think
you have a favorite movie of all time?
Sorry, stretching.
Do I have a favorite movie of all time? Yeah, I'm not going to say it on the show.
Oh, man,
I
wanna
will. My
know.
favorite movie is The Empire Strikes Back.
Ooh, solid choice. Great choice. Great
I
choice.
think that's a brilliant movie, start to finish. I think it's a perfect film. And I could never do a review of it, nor could I be a part of a review of it, because if anybody said anything negative, I would just be instantly
walk
angry. Hell,
out.
I wanted to get in a fight with some guys in the parking lot after I walked out of American Werewolf in London because they were making fun of that movie. Yeah, I got issues.
Nice.
All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I mean, this is, again, I'm a bit stunned. I was not expecting such high praise. Wes Craven, God rest your soul. Thank you for making a movie that even young people today can watch and be amazed by and be inspired to go watch even more horror movies. Now, as far as doing this again, that would be up to Tyler and Sean. I have different lists of movies that are, I don't know, what would you say, classic movies to a certain generation, my generation, or really any movie fan that we could break it up into. I have sort of your standard stuff like horror, action, drama, comedy. And then I have a few fun categories that we could play around. If you want to do that, I could send you lists of movies and just pick a different genre each time.
Yeah.
Or if you want to go watch A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and we could kick that one out real quick here in the next few weeks or whatever, that we could do that as well. Whatever y'all want to do, if this is something you enjoy doing much more than the host of the show, then I would be more than happy to have you come on. It's nice to actually talk to people from time to time in these movies.
Yeah, this is fun, actually.
This is a lot of fun. I've had a great time.
Well, good. I'm glad that you did. I'm glad we finally got this together. Like I said, we've had so many issues trying to get this goddamn episode together. And maybe we could get more of family members on here. Who knows? Get a female voice in. That would be so nice.
Yeah. I'll have her watch 3 with me, and we'll both get on here.
There you go. That would be great. But yeah, I've had a good time. I appreciate y'all coming on the show. Okay, well, I guess that wraps up this episode. From all of us here on the Cinematic Traveler, go out and watch A Nightmare on Elm Street before Halloween. Enjoy a classic with an amazing horror icon in Freddy Krueger. As far as the show is concerned, I will try to have these fellas back on as soon as they can watch something and we can coordinate. I don't know if I'll be doing a review of something in the movie theater because there has been fuck all coming out in the movie theater recently.
Yep.
So I don't really want to waste my time doing that. But I know, I hear the fans out there. We want to hear your voice, Chris. We want to hear your voice. And I have to honor your request. So I'll try to find something between now and next week. And like I said, I'll get with these two and see if we can't crank out another classic movie. And we'll see how much fun this is. Hopefully, I will have it a little more organized than this time. Although my regular listeners know that, I put as little effort into these episodes as humanly possible. But if you're still listening out there, we appreciate you still listening. We must have done something right. If we did, again, please like, subscribe, follow the show. Come find me on social media at Cinematic Traveler Pod. My email address, thecinematictravelerpod@gmail.com. Answer the trivia question. I made it pretty easy on this one. Now, before I go, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to the show. I tell everyone out there, I've got the smartest and sexiest audience in all the podcast universe, and you never fail to live up to those high standards. And as you are traveling around on this blue and green ball, bouncing through the cosmos, avoiding a prostate exam from Freddy Krueger, I need you to do one thing for me. Go out there and do that voodoo that you do so well.
It's time to put this bad dog to sleep.